There's a growing belief inside the Pittsburgh Steelers organization that Will Howard could eventually become their long-term answer at quarterback. But there's also a quiet, very real concern, one that could ultimately determine whether he ever reaches that ceiling. And it has nothing to do with arm strength, nothing to do with leadership, nothing to do with winning pedigree. It's his footwork. That might sound minor. It's not. In fact, it's one of the most defining traits separating backup quarterbacks from true NFL starters. Because at this level, everything starts from the ground up. When Mike McCarthy talks about quarterback play, he doesn't start with highlight throws. He starts with mechanics, balance, timing, rhythm, the subtle details that casual fans don't notice but coaches obsess over. And according to insider Gerry Dulac, that's exactly where Howard still needs significant work. Not just general footwork, but specific situational movement, drops from under center, pocket navigation under pressure, resetting his base outside the pocket. These are not cosmetic issues. These are foundational, because poor footwork doesn't just look bad, it breaks the entire passing process. It leads to late throws, inaccurate balls, poor decision-making under pressure, increased sacks, and suddenly, a quarterback who looks composed in college starts to look overwhelmed in the NFL. That's the hidden fear with Howard. Now here's where the story gets more complicated. Howard hasn't even had a fair chance to show where he stands yet. His rookie preseason, gone, wiped out by injury. Live reps against real NFL defenses, minimal. Game speed development, delayed. That lost time matters more than people realize, because for a sixth-round pick, development isn't optional. It's everything. Unlike first-round quarterbacks, Howard doesn't get the benefit of patience or guaranteed opportunities. He has to earn every rep, every evaluation, every inch of trust from the coaching staff. And missing that first preseason, that's like starting a race already a lap behind. But here's the flip side, and it's why the Steelers are still intrigued. Howard has traits you can't teach: size, toughness, poise in big moments, a national championship pedigree from Ohio State, the ability to handle pressure on the biggest stage in college football. Those things matter. They're why Mike McCarthy openly said Howard wouldn't have lasted until the sixth round if he had been making the call. They're why the organization hasn't dismissed him as just another late-round flyer. And most importantly, they're why this footwork issue is being treated as fixable, not fatal. Because if there's one coach in the NFL known for developing quarterbacks, it's McCarthy. And if there's one player Howard could learn from, if things go as expected, it's Aaron Rodgers. This is where the situation becomes quietly ideal. Rodgers isn't just a great quarterback. He's arguably the gold standard when it comes to footwork and lower body mechanics. Watch how he moves. His feet are always connected to his reads. His base stays balanced even under chaos. His throws are generated from the ground up. That's not talent. That's technique refined over decades. And if Rodgers returns to Pittsburgh, Howard gets a front row seat to that masterclass every single day. That kind of mentorship, you can't manufacture it. But here's the reality the Steelers are facing. Even with the perfect mentor, even with the right coaching, even with time to develop, there are no guarantees. Because fixing footwork isn't just about drills. It's about rewiring habits under pressure. It's about doing the right thing, not in practice, but when a 260-pound edge rusher is collapsing the pocket and everything speeds up. That's where prospects either make the leap or stall out. And that's why this concern matters so much. If Howard cleans it up, you're suddenly looking at a potential steal of the draft, a sixth-round quarterback who develops into a legitimate starter, saving the franchise years of searching. If he doesn't, he becomes what most sixth-round quarterbacks become, a capable backup who never quite puts it all together. And the Steelers are right back where they've been for years, searching. Because make no mistake, that's the bigger picture here. Since moving on from their last true franchise quarterback, Pittsburgh has been living in the gray area. Patchwork solutions, short-term fixes, just enough stability to stay competitive, but never enough to truly contend. Howard represents something different. Not certainty, but possibility. And in today's NFL, that's often the most valuable thing you can have. So as training camp approaches, all eyes won't just be on whether Aaron Rodgers returns. They'll be on what happens behind him, on the practice field, in footwork drills, in preseason snaps. because that's where Will Howard's future will actually be decided. Not in headlines, not in hype, but in the smallest, most technical detail in quarterback play, where his feet go before the ball ever leaves his hand.